Woohoo, we made it! Nothing better than waking up to NIO quarterly record deliveries. Today we know for sure that NIO will be having another record earnings as well, and well, many have been rumored how NIO would not be able to achieve the 16,500 to 17,000 cars delivered that they have guided for in the Q3 earnings, and November deliveries were actually quite weak, around 5,291 cars delivered, so it was a stretch for NIO, and NIO needed more than 6,200 cars delivered in December to meet the minimum guidance. And I shared my personal expectations on my Patreon, and I said that I'm quite bullish that they will actually achieve it. So my personal expectation was that they would deliver 6,700 cars and thereby beating the Q4 guidance by a tiny bit and deliver a total of 17,046 cars. And well, NIO has really crushed that, and even my bullish expectation is now well, even too low, because NIO delivered 7,007 cars, the first time over 7,000 cars in a month, and with that also crushed the guidance by more than 353 cars. So my reasoning that why I was bullish that they would actually achieve the deliveries was that I think in October and November they had to finish the process of the setting up the production for EC6, which they just launched and it went online, and I thought that this is already, you know, a little bit of a pain in the ass to get this up and going, and at the same time they had to upgrade to double shift production in order to exceed the 5,000 monthly production, and I think that only happened in November, and this is why November numbers were actually quite weak, and so we haven't seen the effects taking place of the upgraded production, and so this is why I assume that NIO was kind of, you know, posting those weaker numbers in November, and I also assume that NIO was actually not constrained by the chipset shortage that has been rumored in some forums. So in the end, these assumptions that I made were actually on the point, and NIO really managed to even crush those bullish expectations. And this is great news for 2021, because with more than a 7,000 monthly production run rate, NIO can actually double their output again in 2021 and achieve possibly another 100% year-on-year growth. That's actually my personal expectation, 85,000 to 95,000 cars in 2021, and I think they are on the way with that. And most importantly, this should actually satisfy Wall Street, and I expect NIO stock to at least stabilize over this news at higher levels, going to $50 and beyond, and depending what's happening and going to be unveiled in NIO Day, it may even spike further, I guess. So these kind of deliveries are unlocking revenues up to almost $1 billion a quarter. That's the first time for NIO too, and so this is all great news for NIO investors, because their investment has become much less risky and NIO really manages to execute on their guidance. This is something really important to learn for investors, and ultimately this is all in line with the bullish price targets of the bank analysts. Another important point from this delivery note here is that NIO furthermore realized 40% of cars have been sold under the BIS scheme, and so this shows even more adoption of the battery as a service business model. Previously they sold 35% of cars with that scheme, so NIO has created more service-based reoccurring revenue streams here with that, and also manages to tap into more car buyers target groups here that otherwise would have possibly opted for a cheaper car. So all in all, this is confirmation of the innovative business model of NIO that they are rolling out here, and that is unique to NIO and cannot be copied currently with any other company. So for Monday, when stock trading is starting again, we have a couple of different events here. So the implications of the Tesla Model Y pricing announced for China is one in relation to the NIO stock. I've already talked about my views on my last video, where I say that this is actually just positive news because it's opening up the market for EVs in general. So I think it's actually shouldn't have an implication on NIO stock price. And now we also have some news surrounding delisting of some Chinese telecom stocks, for instance. And I think this was actually to be expected from the delisting bills, and because these are companies that have closer ties to the Chinese government, and they won't be able to disclose their auditing numbers, and so they are regarded as state secrets. And I think this is not impactful to NIO, because NIO is not in the same category as those companies, so it should actually have not an impact on the NIO stock price too. So in the end, on Monday, I think it comes down to how investors are rating the news around Tesla Model Y, but my best guess is that that now NIO, with those great delivery numbers, is free to rally into NIO Day, and then we will see whether or not this will turn into a sell the news event, or that they unveil something so big and unexpected that the stock may even rally further. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a quick thumbs up, subscribe to the channel to make sure that you get all the coverage around NIO and other Chinese stocks that I'm covering here on the channel. And then time to celebrate those great delivery updates. Everything going really well for NIO right now. So thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one.